You know that friend who seemingly read the handbook on life and appears to be the social weapon wherever you take them? Well, maybe it isn't a handbook, but just a really well-developed sense of empathy. The concept of empathy can explain a lot about this seemingly impossible task, as it allows people to understand things outside their own self-interest, which is a great way to predict temperament and even actions. In terms of starting a handbook, we already know what empathy can do for us. Existing studies tell us that empathy is generally seen as a positive and likable trait, that it's a solid indicator of friendship strength, and that our own expectations of empathy go up with our own likelihood of seeking help. But so far, nothing on precisely how it works. To do so, it would be useful to look at how people develop their sense of empathy. All we know about empathy at an early age is that toddlers experience vicarious emotions, in that they're happy to see their friends succeed. Alexis Smith-Flores and colleagues believed that because the toddlers understand their friends' wants and needs, they can be happy for each other, calling this theory intuitive psychology. Their focus was on understanding the limits of vicarious emotions. They manipulated these factors of relationship to a friend and outcomes for that friend to replicate this theory. The babies were shown two characters in an animation, a jumper and an observer. The jumper was a little character that attempts to jump over a wall, and the observer reacts to the result. This was intended to imitate the effect of vicarious emotions. The relationship between the characters and the jumper's outcome could be changed to suit the factor being tested. Because the babies can't really talk, the researchers recorded their looking times to gauge an expected or unexpected result. Through their successive experiments, the researchers were only able to understand their intuitive psychology theory in a positive context. In that, toddlers expect others to be happy following a friend's success and sad following a friend's failure. But they were left with follow-up questions. Why does it only work in a positive context? Why doesn't the effect work in reverse if the characters are adversaries? What if the observer and the jumper's goals are in conflict but are still friends? Maybe there are more emotions at play than happiness and sadness. Could this only affect middle-class babies in the USA? But, working with what we have, the researchers can tell us that babies can use emotions to inform their social world. It signals the strength of their relationships too. They use others' emotions to gauge what is acceptable and unacceptable. And most importantly, is how they predict the motives of others. The follow-up questions make it difficult to apply this objectively useful information, even though the researchers solved the gap in the literature with a reasonable scientific method, which is really frustrating. But on the bright side, future studies can expand on these currently theoretical models, and we may get our handbook after all.